The ulterior motive behind the extermination of the Rohingyas. Dear friends, that's the title of my monologue. I have certain limitations as it is a selfie, meaning I'm holding my phone on one hand and recording it. And I don't have any script in front of me, it's totally unscripted. I'm going to say something about what's going on in there, and I believe that's going to change your perspective and will give you certain insight so how to deal with this issue. As it is totally unscripted, as said, you might see me at certain times faltering or stalling, and that will be because I may be at that time trying to bring up certain points and will try to put through into a confluence so that they come in its essence, the main point what I'm trying to make here. First, let's see, let me put it this way. I can come up with a better word than extermination, because the word extermination mainly applies to bugs or insects. And what we have been seeing these days, the way the Rohingyas are killed, butchered, mutilated, dismembered, burned, buried alive, all kind of brutalities, they're not being treated as humans. So basically, we are missing one point here, that we are calling it as a Rohingya issue, and we are trying to make it like a Muslim issue. For example, the Rohingyas are predominantly Muslims. So basically, what we are missing here, that humans are being killed indiscriminately, like insects or bugs. They're being exterminated. And definitely, there must be a motive. And what is that? That's the objective of this monologue, to find out why is this happening. As you know, we are all concerned about what's going on in the Rakhine province, and we brought up certain issues, that who are the Rohingyas? It's totally immaterial. It doesn't matter. Rohingyas are most human beings, I'm sorry. So predominantly Muslims, but they are human beings. So the issue is the human beings are killed indiscriminately over there in such a brutal way. Nobody ever imagined that that could have been possible, but it's happening. But for about Rohingyas, I have to say something because the thing is, who are the Rohingyas? At least I need to shed some light on that. Rohingyas, when they speak, and as you saw, being a Bengali, even though I'm not a Chittagonian, but I understand most of the Chittagonian dialects, even if not most of, a good part of it. So when we watch on TV and other media, when they're talking, we understand what they're trying to say because it's very close to Bengali. And that's what the Rakhines did claim, that the Rohingyas are not Burmese and they are Bengali people and they're trying to push them back here. Okay. So historically, it was Arakan, and the Chittagong used to be part of Arakan, or I may be wrong, but this is what my understanding is. And during partition, I mean in 1947, when India was divided into India, East Pakistan and West Pakistan, so there were some talks about including Arakan, or that part, to along to Pakistan, but that didn't happen for certain political reason, and the British left, leaving that issue unresolved. And what we are seeing over here is the sequel to that. that leaving certain things unresolved could bring this kind of consequences was happening in the Rakhine province. And a lot of talkings, video footages are coming through media, and many different experts are talking different things about why is this happening. Some people are talking about that it's money, business, that certain countries, they have their interest, business interests, so they just want to get rid of the people. I think the issue is somewhere else. It's the first thing, the Rohingyas who are in there, they have been living there for generations after generations. Maybe the young kid over there, his great-great-great-grandfather born there, and he is a few generations afterwards is living in the Rakhine province with the identity as Rohingya. And the Rohingyas are predominantly Muslim, but I said that doesn't matter. It's a human issue. So what's happening, different people are coming with different solutions as to what we should do. For example, I was watching on Facebook on the other day, and a retired Major General from Bangladesh, he was talking about training the Rohingyas, giving them arms and ammunition so that they can fight back. And I dissented with that because that would be tantamount to waging war or declaring war against the Myanmar government. And actually, you cannot do that. What we need here actually is to make some points that we can bring up to the world, and we should stress us on those points and make the world come to an unanimous decision to set the course of action that should save the Rohingyas. First, let me tell you this. This Rohingya issue actually started happening, as I remember, it started as I read that it started in the 1950s or whatever. But when we were in school in the 1978 or something like that, and that the issue came up and a lot of people were coming as refugees to Bangladesh, and that time it said that about 1.2 million Rohingyas came. Anyway, I don't know the exact number, and the number is not the main issue here. Anyway, a lot of Rohingyas started living in Bangladesh for the last 40 years, I would say. But those Rohingyas, they didn't get any citizenship from Bangladesh government. Now here's the point. We know about Geneva camp, those stranded Biharis who opted for Pakistan and wanted to leave Bangladesh and to go to Pakistan. It has been like 47 years they're still there. And I don't know whether they have Bangladeshi citizenship or not. But this is a life they're living. In some parts they call that Geneva camp or something like that. So we have certain Rohingyas that have been living here in Bangladesh since 1978, I'd say, and at certain areas near the border. So now when this thing started happening again this year, so the initial position of Bangladesh government was to push them back, not to let them in, and citing a lot of excuses that we are already encumbered with a lot of refugees. We cannot provide them with basic sustenance. We have our limitations. We are a poor country, or we have too much population. But when there's resentment all over the world, and even certain countries, they said, okay, at least give them some space and we'll bear the expenses. Now, the government is having a different attitude, and they seem to be accepting the Rohingyas who are coming in. Now, here's a question. Before going to this question, let's come to the point directly. What is the ulterior motive? Okay. There's a word called, it's actually. When you use this word, you can, in a sentence, you can use it in different ways. For example, if you rephrase it like this, actually, what is going on in Myanmar, it means that you have less knowledge or uninformed about the situation, and so you're inviting more information so that you can know what's going on. So this is the question, actually what's going on in Myanmar, meaning you don't have that much clue on that. When you ask a question, what is going on in Myanmar actually, it means that you have certain knowledge about the events what's going on, but you have your questions too, you have your agreement, disagreement on that, so you need more information to process your analysis or your opinion. If you say it like that, what is happening actually in Myanmar, it also suggests that you have certain knowledge and you are about to develop certain opinions of yours, but you need some more information, and you want to also clarify certain confusion or misgivings or whatsoever. And then all these are questions, and also you can say a statement, what is actually going on in Myanmar, and then it doesn't remain as a question. It means that you know, or you have processed your opinion, you process your analysis, and you have certain opinion to say what's going on. This is what it is. That's what I'm going to talk about. That what is actually going on in Myanmar. The first thing is the most obvious part. We know that indiscriminate killing in the most brutal form is happening. Okay. Normally, when there's a killing, there's a motive. If you kill your foe, but there are ways you kill them. Certain times you can use just one bullet, and that's the end of it. And that works as the coup de grace on your enemy, and that which is called the death blow. If your enemy has tormented you so much that you might not kill him in one shot, but torture him. Or you might go even very brutal, depending on the degree of torment, torture, and suffering your foe brought upon you. Here you see one thing, that the Rohingyas are being killed in such a way, it is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Now, actually one call is coming, and then I just get stalled because I just have to wait. Okay, now let's come to this point again. So the motives behind killing, or the degree of atrocity or brutality when you kill your enemy depends on how much he tormented you. Now, the question about the Rohingyas, when you're killing, the way it's going on is like generalized killing. When you kill a baby, the baby didn't torment you. So why you are killing a baby in such a brutal fashion? Or with a dead body and you can hanging on your hands, on someone's hand. I mean, and they're just dangling it and playing with it. And in certain instances, you put that baby and stand up on that. Beheading, dismembering, mutilating. All this brutality, it shows clearly one message. And the message is, don't ever dare coming back to Rakhine. Once you're out, you're out. You will never have the guts to come back. And that's the motive actually. That it's a selective dispelling of the Rohingyas from the Rakhine. And that's why this brutality is happening. Because normally, people would go, there might be a chance of getting killed once you go there. But when you think, okay, if I go there and then they get hold of me and they will cut me into pieces or they'll torture me, they'll burn me, they'll not even spare the babies, okay? So you will give up the idea about going back to Rakhine. And exactly that's the messages they're giving you. That don't ever dare coming back to Rakhine. Okay. Now, the thing is, about the Rohingyas that I read or what I saw, actually I think they used to be, or they are living in some kind of like enclaved, meaning like they're like barbed fences or whatever, or the Rakhine population, I mean the Rohingya population, they live there and they don't have schooling or what, all the, I mean, the benefits or the rights of a citizen over there. They are denied the citizenship. They cannot vote, and they are deprived of all the human amenities or civic amenities, as I would say. Okay. And now, by doing this, they want to get them out. And that's why I'm saying so many video footages are coming out, and it's like ubiquitous in the internet. Wherever you go, you see, and people are asking, share it, share it, share it. So what's your gaining sharing it? Okay. The gain is, yeah, you are talking about that the brutality is going on. Somebody would call it as genocide. It's not a genocide yet. Genocide is, is a severe term. But people are talking about it and people are moving away from the issues. And now, one expert is talking about, okay, arm them, train them, and let them go for war, go to war against the Myanmar government. We cannot do that. What we need to do actually, we need to bring up the motive that what they're doing is not right, that what's being happened to the humans is totally against the human rights. So basically, what are the human rights? United Nations tried. Kofi Annan went there, and I mean, they're not letting the United Nations people go over there and watch what could be done. Now, another thing, I have a copy of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in my hand. Let me read that out to you. There are like 30 articles, 30 points about human rights. The first one is right to equality. That's clearly not happening with the Rohingyas. Freedom from discrimination, out of question. Right to life, liberty, personal security. It's a joke, right, with them. Freedom from slavery. Freedom from torture and degrading treatment. That's a joke too. Right to recognition as a person before the law. Really? So much thing has been happening in Myanmar. Did you see any police activity, any policing? Did people get a right to lodge complaints at the precincts and say that this has been happening with me? Okay. Right to equality before the law. Do you see that happening? Right to remedy by competent tribunal. Do you see that? Freedom from arbitrary arrest and exile. Okay, that doesn't apply. Right to fair public hearing. Do you see that? Right to be considered innocent until proven guilty. You see that? Freedom from interference with privacy, family, home, and correspondence. They're burning the homes. Right to free movement in and out in the country, out of the country. They were enclaved. So, right to asylum in other countries from persecution. So the Rohingyas, they have a right to seek asylum in other countries. Bangladesh government has been denying them. Now under world pressure, they change their stance on this. Okay. Right to a nationality and the freedom to change it. So, when the Rohingyas are here, after a certain time, they should be granted the nationality. It's the human right. It didn't happen with the Rohingyas who has been living here in Bangladesh since 1978, nor with the Biharis who were in the Geneva camp since 1972. Right to marriage and family. They have the right to marriage and family. Right to own property. They used to own property and now they're being misappropriated. Freedom of belief and religion. Freedom of opinion and information. Right of peaceful assembly and association, out of question. Right to participate in government and in free elections. Right to social security. Right to desirable work and to join trade unions. Right to rest and leisure. Right to adequate living standard. Right to education. Right to participate in the cultural life of community. Right to a social order that articulates this document. Community duty is essential to free and full development. Freedom from state or personal interference in the above rights. All these 30 points that I said, none, not a single one applied to the Rohingyas. They didn't. So this is the point. The whole world needs to bring up these issues. Not even a single human right is being enjoyed by the Rohingyas. The Rohingyas are humans, and they are being gone through this kind of plight. And this needs to be brought up to World Court and pressure the United Nations. Okay, you can send peacekeeping force over there, over here, over there, over there. Come on, United Nations, what you guys are doing? Where are your peacekeeping force? Can't you send it over there? At least protect them. Protect them so that they don't have to flee the border. And then you can negotiate. You can try to come to terms with the Myanmar government what to do with this. If you don't want to give them Myanmar citizenship, but this is their inherent right as they're born here and living after generations and generations, is their birthright, human right to have a land of their own. If they want to be part of Myanmar, if you want to take them as your citizen. And if you don't want them, at least you have to let them live in the place where they're born by God's will. So if you keep showing and talking about the atrocities, and also you'll see certain people, they will come up with certain things. Okay, what you're not saying is not 100% true. Meaning, they'll say, okay, we see certain video footages or certain photographs, they were photoshopped, or maybe that happened in certain parts of other countries, and you are. So, what they are basically doing, they are working as accessory after the facts. In Bangladesh, a lot of enthusiast people, I see educated people, but I mean, it's really pathetic. Here on Facebook, you can put down this, I need O blood negative, O positive, A positive, O negative, whatever, blood to save one. And at the same time, you're deriding a community, stating that the Muslim got deflated having seen that Saudi king pecked on Suki's cheek. What kind of irresponsible statement is that? What does it have to do with the Rohingyas? Rohingyas are suffering. And if you see a good gesture, like the First Lady of Turkey and the Foreign Minister personally came and he was crying and giving, succoring the Rohingyas, showing some kind of concern, empathy, and certain people will write deriding poems, right? What kind of joke is this? Or someone would say that he is worried about people of Buddhist religion. This is an apprehension. It hasn't been happening yet. But you are worried that what might come about as a consequence to the indiscriminate killing of the Rohingyas, you are worried about Buddhists, that the Buddhists will be subject to this kind of brutal treatment. But you are not worried about what's happening with the Rohingyas. What kind of responsible comment is that? I just don't know. You see, I mean, such hardened souls that during this kind of time, you are raising the authenticity of certain documents. Doesn't matter what is on the media, even 1% of this happened for sure, that is highly unacceptable. So what I'm trying to say here, I know I'm just dragging for long. What I'm trying to say here is this. Bring up their human rights issues to the United Nations and ask United Nations to honor the human rights of the Rohingyas. Rohingyas are humans. They needed to be treated as humans, not like insects. That's what I'm saying. There are a lot of things that I can go on, but I just want to conclude here saying that the ulterior motive is to dispel the Rohingyas from their birthplace. But that is a violation, and they need to be protected. They should have the right to their nationality, their country. That's what it is. Otherwise, if they happen to live in Bangladesh at one point, they will have to be given Bangladeshi nationality. I see that didn't happen yet. That didn't happen with the Biharis in Geneva camp. So it has to be solved diplomatically, with reason, with world pressure from from every individual. So if you think that I made some point, please share it with your friends and try to form a world opinion favoring the distressed, persecuted Rohingyas. Save them from their plight. It's really pathetic, unbelievable. They demand most sympathy from all of us, from humans. They're the human beings. They are human beings. They are not Rohingya. They are not Muslims. They are humans, minded humans. Bye.